Hi. So this video is more like journaling for myself, and it's more like it's just me doing the work for myself, and it's all about me. But I felt like I don't know where this is gonna go, and maybe someone will find use to it. I have no idea if I'm still gonna upload it to everyone on YouTube or just to members and someone like, okay, this is just like some exclusive stuff. You're gonna see weird side of me and all this stuff. But right now, like I'm dealing with one little issue, and it's probably way bigger than I think it is. It's being too nice. Everyone or most people like being nice, kind. It's like, oh, let me help you out. Let me do stuff for you. And, usually we say yes to everything. And it's one of the things like a few days ago, I posted the thing where part of where we're working on loving ourselves is to learn to say no because we're saying yes to everything without even thinking about it, and then like we kind of regret it, like, oh, I said yes automatically because it's the nature, it's the logic, it's what I'm used to, it's kind of programming, and we end up in situations that are not really serving us. And in that regard, it's kind of like I'm dealing with what I've talked about a few days ago, where there are certain people in my life who are being assholes. I'll just call it them that, and it's like very aggressively getting in my face, not understanding how I feel, not accepting my like, hey, I cut you out of my life, get out. And they're like creating different accounts, just trying to find a way to come back and prove their point. I'm like, no, you're out. Like, you've crossed the boundary. That's it. We're done. And it took me so much to get to that level where I was like, hey, I need to have boundaries. It took me so much. And right now, that person who's being an asshole is looking for absolutely anyone they know to try to mess with me. And in a way, like, it's not necessarily, hey, target Aquila, do this and that, but it's more like having messengers, talking to my clients and then asking them for money to have sessions with me. And I'm like, I'm not having sessions with you. And more and more and more and more. So it's like, it's annoying. And at the same time, people that have been contacted by the person now are talking to me and they're messengers or they're someone else. And, it's like, hey, directly me and that person, no longer, we're no longer, no calm, nothing, I'm done, not going there. It's like you have an asshole in your face, like, no, that's it, we're done. So for me, that person's like crossing the line, using everyone else, and mostly my clients or people I work with or people I know. And it's kind of like, hey, like, they lie about stuff, they make up story, they dramatize, they victimize things. It's like, yo, it's like, it's too much. And when it's like my clients or like someone I know writes to me trying to have me turn to, hey, just come on, just go back to that person, save them, do this and that, and no more boundaries, you don't need them, come on, be better than that. I'm like, yo, so it's like I have this issue of, there's part of me that really wants to be nice, that really wants to say, okay, yeah, I should. I'm a good person. I should listen to you. I should agree to everything you're saying and just go there. But it's part of me like, no, I have decided and now I have to hold my ground and I'm working hard at it. Like, you're being an asshole, pushing everyone in my surroundings, trying to work against me. And it's like this fight between several personalities in my space. There's a personality where, like, hey, I'm a good person. I assume that I am. And it's like, I live up to who I think I am. And by that, like, living up to being a good person means, okay, I have to be kind, I have to understand, I have to be empathic, I have to show like kindness and accept what they're saying, and really, like, yeah, it's okay for you to say that. I'll just act all nice. And it's like, yo, shut up. I don't want to be that. I work really hard. Like, I'm gonna mention her again, but like, Kimberly, if you're watching this, you helped me so much, and I'm just like trying my best to keep at it, And I try to love myself, and these people are pushing my buttons, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to go back. I don't want to be stepped on and all, like, I want to be strong. I want to work at my boundaries and, just like saving myself from being slapped and all. So with that, it's like, I want to say no. I want to say like, no, piss off. Like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. It's like we're done fully. And it's like it feels like if I say that, I'm a bad person. Oh, like you know, you're a bad person. You're a bitch, and now like everyone's is gonna get that answer from me. Like it's a third party, and it's always the third party causes all the fights and relationships. And for me, it's like right now an issue between me, my clients, my friends, people I know, just like anyone in my circle, anyone that knows me from YouTube, anyone that knows me, this person contacting them, talking stuff, dramatizing, victimizing, and pulling stories. And now these guys, everyone that knows me, will have a third party affecting how they see me, how they feel about me, and blah, 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 blah. And I don't necessarily have to live up like, oh, I'm a wonderful person, look at me, I am the best, I'm you know, like have sessions with me, I need your money, loved ones. Like I don't do that shit. But it's like, yo, I don't want you to influence people and pull stories on me. And it's happening. Like this person finds like random guys that I work with, asking, like getting close and then asking for money. Hey, could you pay for my session? You know, Aquila won't work with me. I don't have stuff. And could you pay for me? I'm like, it's not about money. I do tons of free sessions. It's just you I don't want to work with at all. And that's like, it's a thing. You know, you have a fucking handler. It's like, no, you're not getting there. So I'm just talking to myself about it. And if anyone is listening, I don't know why are you watching my videos, but if you're a person like me who's having these inner fights where some personalities pop up, and you know, you feel like I'm a good person, I'm a bad person, I want to be kind, I want to be like an asshole, I want to, you know, show that gratitude or whatever, but I also want to save myself from being slapped and used and all this stuff. It's kind of like I see a lot of different personalities pop up, and it's like, you know, is that fight or flight? Like different, like of course, like there's body chemistry that hits you and all this stuff, but there's going to be specific personalities that come at your place several times, like specific times when, you know, you're getting triggered, when something happens. And there's, you know, there's this major beingness we have throughout the day. Like you might be uptone, you might be kind, playful, I don't know, like whatever you are, you know. And there are times where people will say or do things pushing your buttons, and that's where you might have aggressive side come out of you. You might have like sensitive side, you might start crying, you might get shy, you might close up. There's a lot of things that happen. And for me, it's like, I feel like I worked hard at, you know, like closing off and just being by myself and really sort of having a rehab from that stuff. Now I'm coming back and I'm seeing same fucking people who ruined it for me, who pushed the buttons, who got me there, now are coming back, and I'm not letting them back here. And it's like they're using those around me. It's like, man, it's pissing me off. And so like I'm doing this because I wanna talk it out, find specific personalities that are getting in the way. And it's like, you know, I want to do this technique called parse party. If you listened that far, there's a technique called parse party, or, you know, you can call it different things. The idea is we have entities in our space. We have personalities that are not serving us or getting in the way of, you know, us winning in life, or, you know, getting whatever we want. And with that, it's like these personalities that are coming at certain times are getting in the way, and we can get rid of them. So this beingness, for example, people pleaser or being lazy or whatever, you know, like you might have different personalities, whatever you want. But specifically, I'm looking like, okay, situations that happened today. What got me thinking? What got me reacting? What was I feeling? What was I being? Who was I at that time? And if I can pinpoint like perspectives and feelings I've got, I can find out different personalities that popped up, and I can see which ones are actually showing up more often in different cases, and are they getting in my way or not. And at the same time, I can understand the beingness. I can see if it is the entity pretending to be me and actually messing with me. I can find out if it's actually me that has issues, or other aspects that are like over close, you know, like we can even cross a person in the street and their crap jumps from us and we're like coming back all excited and all stuff. Or not excited, but more like exhausted, I would say. So with all that, I'm gonna look at like there's specifically what happened today. And that little thing that got me like, hey, I need to work on myself. I need to stop it, and I need to address it. So I'm just gonna like label or for myself, because it is easier to do the technique when you know what you're targeting specifically. So there's going to be the part of me that is people pleaser. So I'm going to write it down. People pleaser. Always trying to find like common agreement. Um, what's it called? I'm just looking at what's the best way to label that aspect of me. And I'm just gonna look through different ones. So there's a people pleaser. There's this part of me that like wants to say, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go with them, and just there's a part of me that wants to save the reputation, kind of like wanting to keep the reputation good. So wanting, caring about my reputation. Okay, that's two aspects of me. Let's see. There's a part of me that once gets pissed off somewhat. So what would I call it? Like, I'm looking at specifically, I'm replaying the situation, the things that people say and how I react, and what are the parts of me that pop up that become more major at the time and how I feel about it. So with that, I'm looking like, okay, I have a people pleaser. I have a part of me that cares or wants, or like, wants to have a good reputation or wants to save that status, like, like, hey, people like me. So kind of like caring or wanting the acknowledgement I have, like people accept me for who I am. So I have that. And there's part of me that does not want someone to ruin it. So it's like, you don't tell shit stories about me. I don't want people lying, spinning stories, and it's like it's kind of like that. So like, um, hating deceivers would be the thing. Hating deceivers. So like I have like 3 parts right now. I'm gonna go for like 5 at least, like having conversation and just go deeper for myself. So people pleaser, wanting or caring about reputation, hating deceivers, and they're just gonna spin their stories and kind of like manipulate everything around me, and eventually I'm the bad guy. So like I don't like that. Another part of me. What is it? I'm just sort of in my head. I should like stop talking to you and start looking at sort of like recreate a situation and sort of replay how I feel, how I react, and all this stuff. There's a defensive part of me. There's those like feeling like I'm wrong. So yeah, feeling wrong, bad, guilty. So feeling wrong, bad, guilty is the part where like, oh my God, I'm doing a bad thing. Now they're gonna think about me, and yeah, I could actually respond that I could have been nicer, and I'm not. So I'm a bad person, man. I feel guilty for being a bitch and just like saying no and having boundaries. I feel so bad about it. Like I feel wrong. That's kind of like things like I don't need that. What the fuck, So it's like okay, so like this whole feeling bad, wrong, and guilty is kind of like 3 aspects. I could talk to them separately. So I would say like okay, like just go with that. I think that's enough. There's part of me that's sort of like I don't want to give up or back off. It's like fuck people. Like no. It's like it's just got out of the shell. It's like the chicken getting out of the egg. It's like, hey, I'm free. What the fuck? And then you get straight scared by the world or whatever happens around you. So I feel like that is like, like, hey, I feel like I'm going out. I feel like I can finally reach out to people, do my thing. And there's those fuckers targeting me and trying to fuck me up and pissing me off. And just like, I hate those people. I want to go back into my shell and do my thing and never come back. So like, there's that part where it's kind of like just like I fucking hate this world because of you people. So it's like it's that part where like no. So how would I call it? Uh, it's not giving up. It's more like just like not again. So disappointment. There's like disappointment about people of like how pushy and rude and I don't know like inconsiderate they are, like that's like disappointment in people would be the bigger aspect. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Okay, and for myself, that's plenty of aspects. So the idea is now that I labeled the personalities or the beingness I get at the certain situations, like I'm aware of what comes up and what is present at the time. Like, for example, one thing happens and there's this change of beingness. Like I feel, like there's this emotion, like yeah, like it's up and down, and some of it's like kind of like not too good, right? So with all that, I'm like, okay, I know what specifically I feel and who I become now. For me, because I have visuals, I can simply imagine, let's say, round table and those aspects of me or these parts that are the being as a personality. Like, okay, I can imagine beings sitting around the table or around the campfire. You just like imagine the best setting where you can sort of like put that personality and talk to them. And now, for me, because I see them, I hear them, I'm literally having conversation back and forth. Other people, they might not have it. So literally, you assume, okay, right now, I am becoming the aspect and the beingness that is the people pleaser. How would I be if I was a people pleaser? And you literally get into that personality. And now, when you're at it, when you're acting and being a people pleaser or whatever personality you choose to be, then you ask yourself the question and then you pull out the answers being that aspect and then understanding the problem from that idea. And like literally, instead of seeing and hearing, you become it and you like do the session as it. So yeah, that being said, because I'm seeing aspects and they're all like waiting, I'm just gonna like ask the question, and basically it starts with, from your perspective, what seems to be the problem. Not what the problem is, but what seems, because like you never know the truth completely. It is a like subjective opinion and only what you know and what you see. So it's not like having everyone's agreement on it. It's just like one being subjective, doesn't matter. But so from your perspective, what seems to be the problem is the question, and you can ask any other questions, but usually it's a good starting question where you open up conversation, you let them talk, and you don't try to solve things right away. It's not like, yeah, let's go deal with it and all this stuff. It's more like trying to understand, acknowledging the part, and then seeing if you want to deal with it or not. Usually it's just like becoming aware of the issue clears it. So that being said, I'm going to start right now and start with the people pleaser. So, like, the aspect of me is the people pleaser. From your perspective, what seems to be the problem? And basically, it's like I'm getting this, like I assume that I'm good. And I always want to do best to help people, to make them smile, so that there will be no conflicts. This part of me that is a people pleaser is really avoiding conflicts and just trying to have it all like, hey, peace and love, no more fights, and just agree on everything. And it's like no one gives a fuck. It's like no one's listening. It's like this part is like trying to be really nice, and there's like a name for this feeling or like emotion. I'm not sure if it's propitiation or whatever, but I might have it wrong. Like anyway, but this like part is kind of like it lives in a bit of fear, where intentions are really good. It's like wanting everything to be calm and peaceful and nice, but it's like it's surrounded by fucking assholes all the time. And this part is just like it just cannot live. It's being constantly smashed and killed and everything. It's like this part is like, and just like all of a sudden getting hit again and again and again, and afraid or doesn't want to say anything. It's the part of that gets like spit in the face and call things, and like that's when I get messages of you should do this and that, and aren't you a better person? I thought you about you this, da 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 da. And so like there's a lot of people that there's a lot of things that people might say, and this part of me, the people pleaser, is like, oh, I should be good. Yeah, I should please them. I should not fight for my side. I should not do like protect myself. I should not go into arguments or like say a thing about myself. I'm just like, okay, let it be. And it's like, but like you're getting destroyed. You're not feeling good. So this part of me, like, I'm understanding the problem right now. Like as I'm talking, it's like literally this beingness is just like, it's chill, but no one's getting it. Like no one gives a damn about this part of me. So with this, it's like, okay, I have the idea. Thank you for telling me. So what do you want to do? Like, do you want to stay in my space? And it's more like, no, like I don't want to be here. Like no one's listening to me. I feel like an alien. I don't want to be here. I want to find a place where I'm safe. It's like, thank you for telling me that. You are free to go. And literally, I talk to the part of myself that's a people pleaser. You get to ask a question from your perspective, what seems to be the problem? And that question alone usually is enough to have this aspect of you talk it out. And they're like, oh, well, it's bad. And someone's finally listening. Thank you. I'm saved. And this part of me is like, hey, I can go. So literally, like, I get to understand the problem from that perspective and the personality that I become at some times. And now this part of me is like, it doesn't want to be here. And it's like, you're free to go. You got my permission. Go on. I can create a planet for you just like that. Have fun and go to a peaceful place where you're going to enjoy and people will actually be like you. Like, boom. And I feel better. It's like, I feel like, huh, there's more calmness here. Like, I don't feel bad, wrong, or anything, but I clearly understand where that comes from. So, this whole thing with people pleaser, I'm just gonna mark a little thing. I dealt with it. Yay. Next. Um, Next we have one thing or caring about my reputation. So it's kind of like one or two. Wanting to save a reputation. So the difference between wanting and caring. Wanting is like a lack of something. You don't have it, and that's why you want it. So like, let's say I might have like, hey, I have a good reputation. That's a fact for myself, or like, like I'm just giving it as an example. And wanting to have a good reputation is like, yeah, I would like to have it, and that's it. That's like there's the want, and that's where it ends. There is no action. There is no doing something. There's just one thing, and that's it. It's like it's useless. So for me, one thing, nope, don't need it. I don't need to want to save my reputation or make it better because for myself, I like where I am. I know people in my space are okay with it. No worries. So caring about my reputation, now that's the aspect that is bigger. That's the aspect that is more reactive. That's the aspect that is more like, oh, shit, like shit's going on. I need to do something about it. And that's the aspect that actually takes charge or does something about it. So caring about reputation is the one I'm going to address. So let's go. The aspect of me that is caring about my reputation, from your perspective, what seems to be the problem? And basically just let it be. I get the answer. Like this part of me is like, like I'm not sure if I should tell you. So I'm just gonna focus on it and allow the answer to come. So basically, like I asked the question again from my perspective, what seems to be the problem in my head. And this part of me is like, I'm afraid to get fired because I am not doing shit to save you. It's like I care. Yeah, I know I should do something about it, but I'm absolutely not doing anything. And I don't even want to do anything. So it's like literally like this part of me is kind of like, yes, they're like, I'm being attacked. Man, I should do something. And like it's like you feel like, that kind of like fight or flight where oh, I'm attacked. I should protect myself. Yeah, let's go. And that's where it stops. That's it. There's nothing like I'm gonna write a thing about it. Or it's kind of like, like some people write a message and then delete it. Upload a video, delete it. Upload a photo, delete it. It's kind of like wanting to hear that, I don't know, like feedback and have it approved of. And that's like, yeah, my reputation is saved or whatever, and it's like if it doesn't happen fast enough, you're like, oh fuck, delete, and like never happened. And it's like, now what? And you're like still thinking about how to save your fucking rep and all. So this part of me is like, it's there to kind of like, oh look, I'm doing something, and that's where the caring comes in, like, oh, I'm being attacked, oh, I should do something. And that's where it stops. That's it. It's like you're useless. So this part of me like, okay, I hear ya. It's like you just tell me what's going on, pretend to be working, just like, oh look, I'm working, look at me, that's it, to log out, it's like, so this part I'm just gonna just send it off, like I don't need my space, you're out. So it's good. Like I get a better understanding of how my beingness works, or like let's say aspects of me, entities in my space, a lot of these guys. So there's that. There's like another part I'm seeing, like caring about the reputation, that fight or flight. There's the beingness that like, and sort of gets like I need to protect myself, and then stops, and is kind of like hesitant. And there's the part of me that is kind of like a bit more like sharper. It's more like, hey, I'm gonna say stuff. I'm gonna protect myself. And it's like, there's no need. Like, I know where I am. I'm fine. And this part of me is more like, I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna tell something, and eventually it might backfire. So this part of me is like, it's not really serving me. It's kind of like this fighter that's gonna, like, yo, you're pointing at yourself. You're holding the gun in the different directions. Like, instead of this, it's like instead of that, it's like, yo. So that's what I'm getting, and it's kind of like this beingness. It's more like I feel like it's put in there against my own free will, in a way where like I feel like, oh, I'm being attacked. So there's one part, and then this one reacts. This one alerts, this one reacts and does things about it. So the one that alerts is out, and the one that reacts is more like, tries to put me in situations where I say or do things that will eventually end up in results that I will not like. And it's kind of like it's a little setup. It's like feeling like, oh, I have to say this, I have to do this, I have to protect myself, I have to like save the rep. And this little thing is like, you're not necessarily doing the right stuff. Like, you're the fighter, you want to go at it, but you're not thinking it through. And what you're doing is going to cause me more harm than good. So I don't need you in my space. So this part of me is like, it's easy for me to detect like where it is something like, oh, okay, I get the personality, they're kind of like just there being suppressed or whatever, and there are personalities who are sort of put there in place to eventually backfire and cause me more trouble. So with that, it's kind of like that alone, just spotting like the reality and truth of it is enough for this aspect, like, oh fuck, I've been called out by. So like there's a lot of beingness within our space that can actually act like it's like little cockroaches, like avoiding the light. So that is out. um Hating deceivers, hating that spinning stories, being lied about, like all this shit. And I'm seeing like this, I just got an idea, comes back to the person who I just don't want anything to do with. This person is like always, oh, there's someone talking bad about me. And like, yo, you're doing that to me. And is that part where you accuse someone of doing something because you're doing it yourself, kind of thing. And I'm like, that person was complaining about it a lot. And now she's doing it to me. Hmm. So that kind of like hating deceivers, I get where it's coming from. And it's kind of like I don't even need to focus on it. Like, I'm noticing like this part of me, man, I don't remember having it. I don't remember it being a thing in my life, but all of a sudden I'm reacting to things I shouldn't to. So this part of like hating deceivers, it's kind of like problem reaction solution. There's a person saying, "Oh, like there are people talking bad about me, help." Reaction, I'm gonna talk bad about Aquila, spin some shitty stories. And solution, Aquila now hates deceivers and she's reacting to everything I'm saying, so finally I have her attention. Woo! And I'm like, yo, this beingness is not me. And I'm not sure if I'm making sense to anyone else that's possibly listening, but to me, I'm just saying that this whole thing with hating deceivers is the aspect or the beingness I've never used to have. And it just popped up like recently. And it's kind of like just coming more active when specifically this person is getting in my space. And it's kind of like how should I say? It's like a dog that gets a trauma, and after, like, let's say, oh, can't walk and can't, like, it hurts, and so it limps, and then the master gives so much attention to and love to the dog that's like, oh, okay, that's, I love it. And then a few days later, like, the master just doesn't give that much attention, and the dog starts limping, and then the master gives some more attention. So it's kind of like learning, okay, so if Akvila doesn't react to me in a way where I'm trying to be nice, if I be a bitch to her, then she's gonna react. Yes. And that's where I feel like this hating the serious part is like coming up. It's like a little implant activating only when this person is fucking with me. And I'm like, yo, okay. Just seeing that I think is enough where I'm like chill about it. It's like, yo, I understand what's going on. So that's good. Done with this one, I think. Um I didn't ask though. I didn't ask. Okay. So part of me that is hating the deceivers. From your perspective, what seems to be the problem? right. So this is interesting. Like, so like basically I'm talking to this aspect of me that's hating deceivers, asking the question. The response I get is like, yo, don't look at me. I'm here to distract you. And it's funny, like people laugh about the things that are true. And so like having this, like, hey, don't look at me. I'm here to deceive you, or like I'm here to have your attention, have you distracted. That's totally the thing. That's exactly why I wanted to do this session, is because sometimes there are things in life that if you focus on, you're going to achieve a lot. You might work with people, you might get better, you might find new things, you might meet like, and just like have your life take off, have your life take off, get better one way or the other. And then there are things happening one way or the other that are, people, situations, circumstances, like different things. But eventually, it just distracts you. It's like, oh, the shower nozzle is not working. Oh, my dog did a thing. Oh, I need to clean up the house and straighten up the things and blah, 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 blah. Just like one after another. And you had a thing you wanted to do, and if you would do it, something great would happen. But all of a sudden, you just got distracted by a lot of things. And so for me, this whole like hating deceivers, like, man, I don't hate things in my life. I'm pretty chill person. It's like, Kayla, please don't hate me. I hope you're not mad. I'm like, yo, I don't get there. I'm like, come on. Like, you really have to do something bad to me for me to get there. And right now, I was like, this part of me is like, it's totally not mine. Like, I don't remember being that part. And it's so clear that it's like just put there to distract me, to make me react, to make me, like instead of working on my things, instead of like benefiting myself or others, it's like I'm just focusing on an unsolvable problem. I don't need that. So aspect is pretty clear out. um Next is feeling wrong, bad, and guilty. Specifically, this is like a very, very broad thing, but right now we're talking about that situation where people write to me and they spin stories and there's messengers and it's the third party. Like person I'm dealing with that I have gotten out of my life, and they're them using the third party, like people in between us, the clients, the people I know, people from my YouTube channel, to talk to them so that they would talk to me, and then if I say anything, they give the message back to that person. I'm like, yo, fuck you, you know? So it's like feeling wrong, bad, and guilty if I don't respond, if I don't be kind, if I am like, just like, oh, I should find a compromise, I should be good to them, I should, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm not doing that. And it's like, I feel wrong, bad, and guilty for standing for my own, for keeping boundaries, and for not wanting to give in. And that's like specifically the thing. And so, from your perspective, feeling wrong, bad, and guilty, I'm going with all three, but I probably should do separately. So, like, I'm gonna try with three and see what happens, and if not, then I'll just go separately. But from your perspective, feeling wrong, bad, and guilty, what seems to be the problem? And the answer I get is like, you know, you don't listen to us. It's like there's nothing wrong, bad, or guilty about you. You have all the rights to feel how you feel, to do what you do. It's your life. But there's so many fucking fantastic parts about you where you're kind, where you're altruistic, where you're giving yourself. And it's just like, it's what makes you you. It's what, like you're going to do and people are going to like about you. It's like, oh, look, she's so good and she's so kind. But that's the thing that's going to get you in fucking trouble. Because if you don't listen to us, that's trying to protect you, that's actually trying, it's like, damn, this is so good. This is so good. So parts of me that are feeling wrong, bad, and guilty are the parts that are actually, it's kind of like standing up for me, being real, and not letting me give in. But because they're not being listened to, or they have to find a compromise, or it's more like, oh, don't be that, you're too much egoistical and all the stuff, you're too aggressive. It's kind of like I suppress them, and these parts now, instead of protecting me or being strong about it, like, hey, you have all the rights to block the person. You don't want them to be in your life. It's like, yo, you don't want a fucking alcoholic with a psychopath with a gun in your house saying, yo, I'm gonna live here for free, so make me some dinner, bitch. Like, I don't want that, yo, So why would I suppress someone who tries to save me from that? It's like, it's just crazy. And so like these parts that I am not listening to, or it's more like they're there, they're helping, they're doing things. It's just that they're not getting acknowledged. It's like, how to say it? they're doing their thing. I sort of listen to them. It's more like, yeah, okay, I shouldn't really go there. I shouldn't really give in. I should stand for myself. But it's kind of like, um, not appreciating them, feeling like it's not good, feeling like it's, like it's too much, it's ego and all the stuff. It's like that's not a thing. So these parts, like, I understand the problem. I know what it is, and hey, specifically talking to the aspects of me, I'm sorry for mistreating you. I'm sorry for not understanding and not giving you enough love. And I just want to say that I acknowledge who you are, and I want to become more attentive to your needs and actually listen to you. So like that's a good enough for me to sort of like, okay, acknowledged, got your message, thank you. And that alone is like, you don't have to feel bad, wrong, or guilty for saying no. And I think it's cool. Like, just like taking a look at it is really good. And there's the other aspect of me that is kind of like disappointed people. That's like where I say aspect of me that's gonna get off the egg and like, hey, I'm free. And there's like, ew, the world hasn't changed. So that part of me is like, my eyes are itching because I have like um I don't know, like pollen allergies. So it's like I have to dry and all this stuff. But anyway, disappointed because like people haven't changed, they're still the same. And specifically the ones that put me in a place where I didn't want to connect with people are now coming back and like coming into my face like, yo, just I don't want you. Like, don't you understand? Get out of my life. And it's like disappointed in these, so okay, from your perspective, the disappointed people, what seems to be the problem? And it's like, you know, the way I am, I consider myself to be a very considerate person. Like, if someone says something, I will listen to them. I will react to their needs. I will react to their time. And it's like, thinking a few steps forward, thinking like what's best for that person, what's good for me, the compromise and all the stuff. Like, always thinking ahead. And there are people who are complete opposites and don't give a damn. It's like, if I see someone in a hurry, I'm just gonna let him go. It's like, oh, you're in, oh, that's okay. You call me and you can't talk, that's okay. Like, no hard feelings, nothing. And it's like, because I have a kind heart, or I consider myself to be a kind person, if someone uses me, I have a really hard time saying no. It's like, oh, we're talking for 2 hours about nothing, and I'm listening to you, and I'm just being kind, wasting my time and not doing what I would love to do. Just, yeah, you're great. It's like, I don't want to waste my time, but I'm a kind person. I'm a good person. I'm considerate. And it's kind of like, I'm not getting much from it. I'm trying to be very kind. I'm trying to be very good to others. And that doesn't get acknowledged. But me doing that, I'm doing it because I am me. That's just my beingness. But I get disappointed when people are not the same way with me. In a way where like they just don't give a fuck about my time, my needs, my feelings. They're like, hi Kavita, I'm gonna talk to you about like for about like 50, 100 hours, and you're gonna listen to me, and I don't care if you hang up or anything. I'm just gonna be here in your face. I'm gonna talk to you, write to you, blah 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 blah. And it's like absolutely no feelings, absolutely like no understanding. It's like those psychopaths, like they just no empathy, absolutely. And it's like, okay, I'm disappointed by these people. So that's the issue. Like, I just accept or like expect or assume or want people to be more considerate, to be, like more attentive. And when they're not, it's kind of like, humanity could be better. It's like having that thing where a lot of people who are not here from Earth for the first time, they will have issues talking, communicating, because a lot of beings who've been, in other lives with other races, you communicate with feelings. Like, you look at someone and you know things, you have a knowingness, and react like through actions. And certain things, certain words can hurt so much, and certain can make you cry and feel so freaking good, but there's never enough words in the language to express how you feel and all this stuff. And like, that's like, hey, you're not human, that's good, but like, this place is freaking toxic. It's like any ET, any good guys are gonna come here, they're in a freaking, radiation zone. It's like coming here is like you're gonna 100% mutate and be dead within weeks. Do you want to risk your life? No one in their conscious right mind would want to do it. It's like sacrificing, like, yeah, you're cool, don't do that. So it's like, I feel like this place is super toxic. For beings who are, way more advanced and thinking through, it's so freaking toxic here. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this part of me that's disappointed, it's like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, go somewhere else. Like, I'm gonna create the world for you where you can be free and enjoy life and actually meet someone equal, meet someone who's like really better than anyone on earth, and it's just better. So that's the part where I feel better. I feel like, oh, I understand the problem. I looked at it from tons of different aspects, and it's as simple as that. Like, I feel like I've dealt with it. I feel like, I get a better understanding of how things work, of why I react the way I do. And I'm pretty sure, like, hey, some of the parts of me will not show up anymore. Like, they're gone because I spotted the truth and reality of them. So that's pretty much the technique. It's pretty easy. You literally look at any issue you have in life. You take your time looking at what kind of personalities or aspects you have popping out, being more present at the time. You label them for yourself so that you could identify and talk to them. And after the conversation, you simply be a good listener. You ask a question, you get the answers, you acknowledge them. That's it. No hard feelings or anything, from majority of people, I guess. And you let them go. And so for me, okay, I get it. I get it. What's going on? So yay, I feel much better. Now, this video is like, I guess I'm gonna upload it to everyone. Like, it's a bit weird, but you get to see my inner world and the techniques I do. So feel free, to try it out. If you need any help, write to me. I'll be here for you. I'm writing this up so that people could just follow the text and just do it, or videos, whatever. Anyway, that being said, this is all about me. I don't know, like, you might take the technique and try to apply it for yourself. And if it works, great, let me know. If you need any tips, let me know in the comments. And anything I have to say about the station, go ahead, but I'm still going to do what I love to do about my life. Like, I'll take the tips I like and approve of, but other than that, like, I'm feeling way better than when I started. Like, compared to my feelingness of like being triggered and kind of like defensive, now I'm like, oh, I handle it. Yay. So that being said, anyone who watched, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.